So, by the way, this is like a. I didn't bring any souvenir or something with me, but this is something that's from the other business, Finance Future.
Oh, okay.
And it's like a t-shirt inside. I hope the size would be like. But this is 2X, but the 2X is like a kind of like a. It's Vietnamese size.
Oh, okay.
So they're small, you know.
Yeah, small Vietnamese.
So I hope this one like.
Oh, it's
fits.
a nice box.
Yeah, it has also a pin.
Oh, lovely.
Inside.
Oh yeah, we will love it, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Say thanks, Kiki.
My pleasure. Good. So it was great actually. We could make it today, and I was like all the way long from Kajaani, Helsinki to here, and then I'm happy that we changed the plan.
Yeah, me too.
To visit the factory.
Yeah, you saw the real sort of countryside of Finland.
Countryside, outside, and also with like a smell here.
Yeah.
I cannot like explain it here in the video, but it's really nice. Tasting the ice cream, the taste is really brilliant, and then making it from goat milk, and then it's like really special, and a lot of things that we can discuss during the talk. So first of all, I wanted to ask that first, who is Shirin?
God.
you can like start from that point.
Yeah, Kiki, who is Shirin? So I'm Shirin Namiq. I live here in Etelä-Pohjanmaa at the moment. I've been international aid worker, humanitarian aid worker for, I don't know, as long as I remember, probably 14, 15 years. So I've gone to different natural disaster zones with the Red Cross movement and seen how the climate change is affecting people's lives. And that's really like my sort of the soul and the background is all in that, and how then I ended up doing the goats, I guess, milk, ice cream and other products is originating from that sort of Shirin that wants to do good. In many of the disaster zones, even though we were giving people, aid, many what they wanted was a job, going back to their normal lives, making their own money. And for years I thought that, I would like to have my own business, but I didn't have a business idea. I just knew that I want to employ people because I knew how important it is. And during COVID time, then I thought if I don't do it now, I probably won't ever do it. And it was about 3 years ago, I came back to Europe from a mission and started looking for companies that were on sale. Coming from a very entrepreneur family, I know when you're struggling and you don't find any more ideas for your business, it's really great if somebody else can come in and just maybe have a new life for it. And so we thought we would like to help somebody else like that. And so we have a service in Finland where you scatter around different businesses for sale, and we went to see 10 different ones around Finland, and then this one came up. And I was living in Brussels at the time. Packed my bags, and we just said, can we come over and see it? And yeah, sure.
So you didn't have any experience like producing ice cream or having the idea of running this kind of business?
No.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And then just one thing that you mentioned about helping people and giving the feeling and the sweetness of life, and the meaning of your name.
Yeah.
So Shirin is like.
Shirin is like sweet, no?
Sweet, yeah, it is sweet. So it's like I think you were all carrying it by yourself at some point.
I think so.
To do that.
I think so because I'm from Kurdish part of Iraq, and we came as refugees to this country. So I think that whole feeling of wanting to help, it's like wanting to help back some way. We were lucky enough to get to this country and build a life. I know that many aren't, and this was, I guess, some way to also give back. Like, could we make job opportunities for people who are struggling at the moment? And it's not to fantasize it too much or romanticize it too much, but I think it was just like the idea was about doing something good. It started off from that. It wasn't like, let's make ice cream or let's make pet food. It just started from something and it developed. And I think once we go a bit more on, it developed from human ice cream to dog ice cream. And the same philosophy was behind it. How can we help? And this time it was, how can we help the environment? It's I think that's the core of the business, is that
is good.
And so not to forget that. It's easy to forget that after a while. When you're here doing ice cream, you're like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, exactly. So you mentioned about like coming to Finland. So how long you have been here?
How long? God, I think I was 7 or 8 when we came here. So it's been over 30 years that we've been in Finland. We've gone around different parts of Finland, but we came as a quota refugees through UN agency for the refugees, and we were settled in a town or a city in Lahti, and then went to the.
So it was late 80 or early 90.
Yeah, late 80s we left Iraq.
Okay.
And we were in Turkey for about 3 years, and in 90 we arrived to Finland.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was like 33?
33, yeah, God, time flies.
Yeah, it's like a long time ago.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So how have you been here? I mean, in terms of like a different feeling as a foreigner. So back in days, it was not that much like people from outside of Europe, especially in Europe and Finland, definitely not that much.
Yeah.
So how was like the environment, atmosphere, the feeling, and then the way you grew up? So tell us about that one.
Okay.
I mean, the one that you can't share.
I think it's very. It's very similar to every country. You have good things and you have not so good things. I think starting with the good things, I mean, it's such a safe country. I feel like the very first time in my life I felt safe is when we arrived to Finland. I mean, in Iraq or in Turkey, when you saw police, you would just, you would be scared, just somehow automatic feeling. Whereas here, police means protection. I think these kind of notions of understanding certain standards and keeping them. You have great education system. It's free of charge. You don't have to struggle working while you're studying. You have great facilities for children to go to the, daycare. And as you can see, we're, by the way, in the countryside. Kiki keeps on trying to fight the little insects here and there. And I feel like I was very lucky to be raised here. The downside, of course, is that we're people of color, so you always have that stigma. Whether you apply for a job, even though if you have university degree, I've come across racism just based on my name, which I took all the way to the courts. It's not something that it's taken for granted. You have a great country, there is a great democracy, but at the same time there is a lot of hidden racism as well, and I think we should be talking about it more openly because it's there. But I think it's something that you will face in many countries as well. So it's not just only Finland. I think Europe in general, and I think it's the other way around as well. If you go to Middle East, you
exactly. It's not only in Europe, so
exactly.
It's like,
so I think those are the good sides. You have the good basis for living. As they say, Finland is the happiest country in the world, and I think it goes back to you have the basic service, free healthcare system, and so forth. Of course, the culture is different. I remember when we first arrived, I would hug everyone, or I would go and talk to people, and like, oh, okay.
Okay.
I think Finns really do respect their own privacy, and there is a certain, the distance. One of the most surprising thing was that we would live in an apartment building and you don't know all your neighbors.
Yeah.
And coming from our cultures, it's just like
you knock on the door and then ask for bread or ice or whatever.
Exactly.